BI or Die, the podcast by Reporting Impulse about analytics, dashboards, and business intelligence.
Hello and welcome to our second episode of BI or Die by Reporting Impulse features Transformate with the well-known Kai-Uwe Stahl and me, Viktoria, as co-host. This time with 5 questions for Kai. Hello Kai, how are you today?
Hey, Viktoria. Yeah, I'm really fine. I'm looking forward to get your question being challenged from my new co-host. I've kind of experienced that with Andreas, but yeah, it's something different in German. And but yeah, it's really nice to have you here, virtually connected somehow, seeing you in this team session here, and yeah, that's perfect. So had a good week so far. How are you?
I'm fine. I had a good week too. Looking forward for holidays to come.
Okay. Yeah, the tough end year rally probably.
Yes. And did you prepare for your podcast, this English version podcast? You already experienced, but for
Yeah,
English?
no, not really. I'm not really preparing it. Maybe I just in the morning just had a little chat with my wife, and she was also talking about other podcasts she's listening to, and then I was just laughing and say, well, maybe in some other situations, people on their breakfast table say, well, I just listened to a podcast from BI or Die and just reference something, because he was also picking to people in the mindset change, stuff like that. So these are the topics she's often listened to. And I was just laughing, saying, okay, there might be a different situation. This was my preparation. And but also I prepared another podcast in the way for our new guest. I mean, we will also record a guest session, as we mentioned already. So yeah, there was a little preparation I've done, but yeah, not for this specific podcast here.
So you're my new excuse to watch English series the whole evening. So I have some preparation.
Christoph is already annoyed, or is say, okay, that's still accepting it?
No, for the moment it's okay. He would prepare more for him. It's more the American style of series. I prefer The Crown or something, so more the British ones.
Okay, cool. But he was not making the technique anymore here, because or the technical stuff or the recording. I mean, you did that already on your own, right? The last time I think I just saw him in the background moving around and saying, okay, you need to connect
I
that.
improve. I think he is really proud of me. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's so funny. That is such a cliche, but at least in your relationship that works. So that's cool. Well, that fits. So that's fine.
Okay, so let's start with the hard questions then.
Yeah,
The first,
that was not a hard question. I think that was already number one. How are you? No, that was not hard.
you thought was the first one?
Yeah.
No. But the other one, the first one, it came to my mind when I was sitting at the or when I tried to get my children asleep, and I was sitting there sweeping through my apps. You know that when you're sitting there, kids don't want to get to sleep, and you switch between your apps, and you say, I watched this last time, and there I had a look on my Fitbit, and I realized, and then my bank account, and I realized how much mobile BI I use now. So I seen, you have not done enough steps today, not enough money on your bank account, everything is checked.
So let's do a podcast to get some more listeners and then improve everything. How do we improve the steps? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it's more or less a sitting activity, recording a podcast, but maybe it will affect your bank account. But that's probably a future production, maybe in a couple of years from now. But yeah, in the long term, I guess we do that.
Yeah. So now, coming back to my question,
Okay.
So I realized that
Just try to get more time to think about mobile BI. No, it's fine.
Oh yeah, I see. You don't you realized the direction. Okay. So starting with my question, what's your opinion about mobile BI?
I mean, the tough challenge always is that mobile BI is compared to very professional apps, as you mentioned, that the tracking of your steps, or you're thinking about looking in your bank account and stuff like that. So these are really highly accepted apps probably, and then you're challenged against this. But if I look back to many experiences in companies when they think about mobile applications, they often really start really more or less from a theoretical basis and think, okay, is it really necessary to do that? And they're not really doing it on an implementational base. If I really think about projects solely focusing on mobile BI applications, don't know if that's different from your experiences. I can't really remember a project where they really solely focus on mobile BI applications. And then I always challenge them and say, okay, if you like to do that, what is the overarching question? And for your business case, how does that fit together? Why do we actually work on mobile applications? And here, I think it's often quite unanswered, especially the question, or will a manager make business relevant or even strategic decisions at the airport, in the train, close to the family, next to the bed, I don't know, babysitting or stuff like that? Is that really the case? Will they really do that?
What do you
Um,
think? I have my opinion. In my
yeah, I
opinion,
have my
it's
opinion
changed.
as well. I think that it's not the case. It is just a nice add-on from my perspective, saying, okay, if there's some situations you want to have a look at, just get this information. But really sitting down and say, okay, now I'm doing, say, okay, let's close the location in Germany, whatever, in Stuttgart. It's not done in that kind of situation, at least what I believe. And what it was also, I think, quite a problem in acceptance of mobile BI is that, especially at the beginning, where it was kind of a peak in this hype cycle and everyone was talking about that, really a successful implementation was really hard to do, because the effort you need to put in to really implement a somehow comparable version to these modern apps, from the App Store, it was really hard to achieve, and there was not really a balance between effort and benefit. But what we can say, at least if you observe that the last couple of months, that at least these huge top vendors, they really closed this gap. They have real responsive design. The logic of tiles makes it really easy to have also provide a mobile version. But I think still it is more or less an add-on to your analytic versions on the desktop. Okay, you only thing you're looking a little critical if you say, okay, to be honest, compare the size of the tablet and the laptop. What's the difference? Yeah, that's pretty close from size related. Maybe you can think of, okay, there's the touch device and there's mouse navigation. Maybe there's something different still, but again, it's really possible. And from the beginning, where the idea of mobile BI came first up, we even thought we need a concrete concept for integrating mobile BI, but there was never the demand from the market or from our customers really thoroughly think about that. So yeah, I think it was more even in the discussion than really in the implementation, these topics. And often it was the requirement for mobile BI was just because the company just needed to find a use case for their investments in iPhones or iPads or stuff like that. So, but if I look at it right now, it's really great progress done, and you can provide it quite easily, I think.
Yeah, if you would have asked me like some years ago when there was the hype of mobile BI, I was completely your opinion. Now it starts to change. Maybe I change, maybe life change, I don't know. And I have the feeling that getting the most important decision-making informations on your mobile is quite useful, and it changes the time that you start taking decision on the airport, in bed, that you really like get information alertings and some numbers on your mobile is quite good. I'm thinking about like getting a notice when the air temperature of my production is not right, and I get just an alert and can watch on my mobile. You can do it by email, but you need something on your mobile and you get it, so that in all three situations you can act and react on changings. And I think this is becoming more important. I'm still your opinion regarding analysis. So going further, not just the management dashboard or the key information, key performance indicators, going further and to say, oh, I've seen that this happened and now I need to talk analysis or something. You don't need on your mobile, in my opinion. But the first, just to get the information, I think is quite helpful. But you're right. Regarding the implementation cycle, it's still not part of most of our projects that you say, okay, you're talking about that. Can I get this information on mobile? And you say yes, but then really to having a concept and really specific dashboard or something for that, not just the small version of the desktop one, is still not so needed that most of the companies want to invest money on design. They just take the one they have on the desktop.
Yeah, sure, but I think that's a quite advantage of it, that the vendors are really providing a solution to that you at least have the possibility to just transfer your basic dashboard towards mobile design as well. And so this is, from my point of view, a great advantage. And of course, the usage, maybe you can, even if you just heard to your explanation, I just was thinking about this possible compromise on that, saying, okay, maybe really on a strategic level and a strategic perspective, it is just a nice to have, definitely. Really having, okay, you're just, maybe you're getting informed, you're maybe starting your decision-making process, fine. But really, strategic decisions are always, I think, kind of combination of really analyzing, discussing it with others, and more or less, I think that's not done on the airport or at the airport or in the train or whatever. But maybe really on a more operational focus. You say, for example, in the production, I also remember a use case at Porsche. They say, okay, we need all our main KPIs related to the production directly on our iPhone. So if we go through the production and then we can have a look, and maybe also this alerting stuff, I think that's quite interesting. Or if you discuss it with people directly on the floor, then it's a dramatic advantage really to have that on a mobile device as well. Maybe there could be somehow a differentiation between, okay, there might be even a stronger use case for those operational cases, really where you're on the go or working through the production stuff, so that you think about mobile solutions in that way specifically. But again, the strong advantage from now on in comparison to the starting years is that you not really need to develop a solution for mobile BI. You can just take advantage of the existing one you've provided on your desktop, and that's great. And that's why the expansion of mobile BI will increase further in the next years, definitely.
Yeah, and I think it goes to a step further, for example, to chatbots, where we should, for example, to develop these kind of things, where we just get, where you get all this alerting or the status of your actual status in the production, or kind of these things. I think
You're integrating in your classes, or
Yeah.
natural speaking, how the interaction is then with your mobile device, even better, replying directly to your question when you walk through. I don't know.
Yeah.
So cool thing for the future, definitely.
Okay, thank you, Kai.
Woo! First one done.
First one done, and the next one is easy for you. I've read.
So easy, okay.
Yeah, I've read on LinkedIn that you already did more than 500 workshops with Andreas now. So this is really.
Now you think that was definitely a tougher challenge to do this 500 together with Andreas, and then no, answering your question is easy.
Andreas, I didn't say that. So no.
Next time I will mention that if I talk to him. But there was kind of a tone in between when I talked to Viktoria. No, that's fine.
Yeah. So next question.
Okay, we'll stop the recording right now. Okay, this is the end. No. Okay.
Next question. What makes a good dashboard for you?
Now I can again refer to my lovely colleague Andreas Wiener. We discussed that question, and of course, it's often an issue in our projects, really to focus on what really makes a good dashboard. And when I first time thought about this question, I thought about, okay, usability, design, all this stuff I can refer to later on. But Andreas really broke it down to something astonishingly simple. He said a good dashboard is a dashboard that is highly used by its target group. That's it. Full stop. Nothing more to say. In case your target group likes the dashboard and is really using and interacting with the dashboard, that is the perfect description on what a good dashboard is. That's it.
Good point. I go a step further. If they are just kind and they use it, it's okay. But but
Okay,
if they
okay, Anna.
but if they take the decision with that, if they have,
Sure.
if they open it and they can take the decision, like we were talking in question number 1, if they're on one, they just on one view, they can decide. That makes for me a good dashboard.
Yeah, definitely the usage, and that they, based on that, really make possibly better decisions. Not
But if they
only make
open it,
decisions,
it's
but
great.
maybe better data-driven decision,
Yeah,
if you put it even in more nicer words. But of course, again, I think what you mentioned here is beyond all the design and the structure aspects. I can also get some thought about that. It is really the business case of a dashboard. That's always important, really, that the questions the target group likes to address with this dashboard, that they are answered, and that they getting the insights, and that there is a clear business case, and not something like, okay, there was a wish list for Christmas or for whatever for my birthday, and I say, okay, I like to have a dashboard because my colleagues also have one. Okay, this is no reason really to having a clear business case. And again, if you think about other indications on what to focus, I think it's the acceptance of the dashboard. And the acceptance, I think, of course, is related to design, to the first impression. If you have a look at the dashboard the first time, if it's somehow have an attractive, reduced design, I think it's definitely a really important aspect if you like to return to that dashboard coming back. I remember discussion with the colleagues at the Telecom, for example, and they always tend to say, well, we like to feel at home, and that's why we're always integrating these magenta colors everywhere. But that's for us the definition of being at home, feeling our corporate identity. So the first impression is definitely important. In that direction might also go somehow the shown data or the data quality. If you look at the first number saying, okay, I don't know, 5 million euros turnover, but in fact you thought, okay, it should be only 3.5 or something. So then there's no acceptance, no huge possibility that you return and use that again and trust your dashboard. And what I also think is more or less a clear standardized structure. We always argue for having different levels, starting on level first, getting an overview. Then you have additional version like filters or whatever, any visual interactions possible. And then more or less going deeper into the details, maybe even as the switch between visual elements from the beginning and then ending up in a more or less table-based or visual table basis, whatever. So just having a clear structure, I think that's also an important issue.
I'm completely with you. I would just add personalized structure, so that you have for different target groups, different structures, or not different types of structures, but maybe different level. So sometimes if you're more on the operational part, you don't need this overview view starting from the strategic, but then starting 2 or 3 levels lower on your part, on your view, with only your part or department or your action region. And
yeah, that's true. What I really would like to say again is, on personal level, not on the personal level taste of Kai or Viktoria, or the one who's receiving the dashboard, but related to the business case of the dashboard, as you describe it, saying, okay, we are on a very operational level. What is the real focus in here, or is it on a strategic level? Where do we need to start? Do we need to directly analyze it, or is it more or less that we're looking at the numbers, thinking about, and then we're somehow exploring? Or even with regard to the navigation, maybe if you're just more or less having a monitoring dashboard, then scrolling might be quite efficiently. Just click at it and then just directly see how the visual interaction works. Or you're more somehow on the strategic, and then you click and then you're somehow exploring the different levels. So yeah, this is definitely what we can say as personal thing, or target oriented, use case oriented dashboard design. Yeah.
Now we talked a lot about soft and structure and things about dashboard, but now the hard facts.
I'm not the hard guy, you know.
So, third question: what is your favorite business intelligence front end tool?
Yeah, I mean, my personal, I'm not really sure if anyone is
Depends.
interested in my personal favorite business intelligence tool. I mean, everyone would like to say directly, okay, that's a simple answer to that. If I need to somehow try to identify my favorite business intelligence tool, or how would I select a tool in that direction, I will probably consider one of the top BI tools, as stated, like Bug BI Score or Gartner Magic Quadrant. So if I just have a look in this leader collections, so if I think about SAP Analytics Cloud, Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, ClickSense, just to name a few, I would say there's nothing wrong to you can do. If you do a selection among the leading ones, there are definitely no doubts in choosing the wrong tool. And then I would just again refer more on the methodologies of successful dashboard design, because I think that's more important than really focusing on a long-lasting selection process. But this is, of course, that is related to my
Job,
personal job. And also, but if you then just have a wider look at how to select the tools, it's not only referring to those 4 or 5 leading tools. Also, it depends strongly, definitely, on your personal or your company-wide ecosystem. So, what are the historical developments? If you are since ever, I don't know, click-driven company or SAP-driven company or Microsoft-driven company, okay, why not continuing this path? If you have your experience concerning your processes, your employees and stuff like that, your consultancies, whatever you're working with, if they are somehow having their competences and mindset really in that direction, I think there's not so dramatic differences between those tools really to change all that things you developed over a historical period or whatever. But I'm also not saying that one vendor strategy is the best possible version. I will always think of different, and you definitely need to pick the tools that fit best to your set of use cases. And this is this best of breed approach, selecting the best possible tools for your given scenarios.
Great answer to the question. What is your favorite reporting tool?
Okay, what was okay? But okay, then let me put it like this. Two answers to that. I have 2 favorite tools. Okay, I can put it at least in a little scenario. First scenario is Reporting Impulse, small consultancy company. We're already using Office 365. We have a high acceptance to that Microsoft understanding for the Excel and all these Microsoft products. It is more or less limited data what we're looking at, and stuff like governance. It's not really an issue in company with 6, 7, 8 employees. So in that scenario, I would definitely, and this is the case we're using, it's Power BI. Yeah. Definitely for the situation I described here at Reporting Impulse. If I think about a larger corporation, if I would work for larger association, then I will definitely more or less go. And this is the second tool I really like is SAP Analytics Cloud. with the focus on my personal career, I would say SAP decisions will never ruin your career, or will never even ruin your career, because you will always find arguments about where this was the best possible decision you can say. And also from a personal taste, I really like the design and the usability perspective. But yeah, this again, it's really a personal thing.
Okay, so let me just.
You also have a favorite one? You can say that directly.
Yes, but before I answer that one, I would say, so you still answered my question on the reporting level. So if you ask me for a self-service reporting tool, I really like ClickSense, for example. But here saying on the self-service idea, and I think it comes back to your use case. If you want an integrated software, and that's why I said reporting answer or dashboard answer, when you think about a CPM solution with more focus, for example, on planning or on consolidation, there are other tools coming in my mind. So and then you have a look if
planning is also possible in SAC, but yeah, of course.
We can discuss all that another time. I think this goes too far talking about good CPM solutions. You can ask me next time, or we can do a session about that. But I think you have to look, if you have, for example, all these questions: consolidation, reporting, planning. Do I want a solution for each of this subject? How do they integrate with each other? How open are they? How are the technical APIs? How do they work with my data warehouse? So it's the whole IT strategy. And there we come to the one vendor thing, like Apple. If it's integrated completely, it's good. But even then it starts that you want to have more external data. And does that really work with the one vendor who is really concentrated on its own application? Is it open for other data, for example? So, but this, I think it's a huge subject. I think it goes
Definitely.
too far. But on the reporting level, if I'm just looking on a self-service BI tool, I like ClickSense, and then because sometimes ClickSense is not enough structured for me, to be honest. I like that that you can take your add-ons, I say, so that you can take extensions, for example, True Charts. I think you were talking to True Charts. I really like that.
Andreas and yeah, that's true.
I really like
And
that one
Michael.
because it brings structure to your dashboard where they need it. So I like that one.
Maybe we should have a tool focus in one of our next sessions, and then you argue for ClickSense, and I try to find some arguments for Power BI and SAC, maybe.
Sounds good. And then we take some guests who support
We take
us.
some guests and discussing. Okay, what's the best possible tool from your idea? Thinking about people from SAC. Yeah, we will have some interesting guests in that.
Sounds
I'm
great.
pretty sure.
But to be honest, I like the new SAP version of front-end tools. Like
It's over now. You're not completely click branded. I understand that.
Right.
No, it's fine. That's fine. I would accept something different, but okay. That's if you're the click person. No. I also have there are things also quite beneficial in Click, and there's always little things where you can say, okay, this is pretty cool solved in that tool, and there are also some disadvantages in the other tool. But yeah, on the reporting level, I think they're very close.
It's use case specific.
Yeah,
and it really depends, and it really depends.
Typical answer from a consultant. It depends.
It depends. That's what I said in the beginning. It depends. Answer is always good. So next one. So we talked about the soft subjects of dashboarding, hard check. So now project view of things. What is the best time of starting a dashboarding initiative?
If I need to make a little timekeeping thing, I try to answer that in a little more focused way. Best possible time to start dashboarding initiative. I think right away, if you try to answer this question, having this question in mind, it's the best time to start. It's always now. Start directly. Think of small achievements on your products, on project part, not really the long term, but really being able to deliver small steps and improvements all over time to be in continuous flow. I think that's important. So really starting right away. Because if you really start thinking what is the best possible moment, I think then it's always this little question of this classical chicken egg problem. So, do I really need to start until I have the data prepared? Should I then continue? When will the data be perfect? Or would I say, okay, I'm not caring about the data in the beginning. I try to start on a conceptual, business-driven cases, make a lot of paper prototyping, and then based on that, uh, develop the necessary data sources. So I think this is just an endless circle. You're argumenting, okay, I need the data, but I need also the conceptual idea. Blah, blah, blah. So just start whatever you have and then try to improve it as fast as possible in these really small circles. And this is, I think, the best time is right now always.
Next time we talk about rapid prototyping, huh?
Yeah, we can do that. But you have also the same idea, or what's your starting point? Because you're again smiling in the way that's like, well, I'm thinking a little different, but or you're supporting me in this time.
No, I support you. I always support you, but this time I'm even your.
It's not a hard decision. Either SAC or ClickSense. It's more interpretation in that. Okay.
No, to come back to the third question, because you're
no,
the stamp ClickSense on me. I think that but I think we will talk about that again.
I remember so many projects we're doing together, and it was ClickSense. It was SAP driven. So that's, I think, it was just a personal taste in that situation why you said I also like ClickSense.
Yeah, and you missed that one out. You already talked about Power BI and SAC, so I had to add ClickSense.
But then I also need to mention maybe Web Focus from IBI. We're doing quite a nice webinar or anti-webinar series with them. So I just added them to our Reporting Impulse Academy just a couple of days ago. So they also have quite nice aspects. But again, this is a slightly different scenario, not really truly focusing maybe on self-service, more on the standard reporting stuff. But okay, there are different scenarios.
We go back to the good answer. It depends. It depends.
And you also have to look at the
use case. So last question. Okay. And it's more like a general question. I've done a lot of recruiting, and I see that recruiting is changing, or the persons you can recruit and what they want to do is changing. When I started like 10 years ago, everyone wanted to become BI consultant. Was really cool, and BI was top. The new BI consultant is the data science. What do you think? Is that really the sexiest job in the 21st century, or not?
Well, at least there was a heading in a very famous, influential business magazine saying, okay, it is the sexiest job of the 21st century. I think it was by Harvard Business Review. In general, this was very fantastic because it pushed so many companies thinking of an analytic and data-driven initiative in their company, and that they are also moving in really a data-driven company idea. Moreover, I just read it a couple of weeks ago that even BMW stated in one of the German magazines saying it is important for everyone in our company, everyone should be able to handle or deal with any form of data. And that's even from top positions like the board till the assembly line. So it was saying it's important from board to assembly line. So it's really fantastic that we're discussing. Again, I'm drifting away from the initial question. Personally, I would say I can just answer it with a question in that direction. Is there anything more sexy than being husband, father, and team member of Reporting Impulse? No.
Yeah.
I think it's
mother and working at
okay, sure, fair. That's the other way.
Mother, wife. I missed my husband.
Okay, but just coming back, we discussed that a lot also in our projects. What is very important? Is it really the data scientist the most important one? We came to the conclusion that is the whole team around the data scientist. It's not only the data scientist, that you're really solely focusing on the data scientist and that this unicorn, that this data scientist is solving all the data related issues. Also, the BI consultant you mentioned is part of the game. Also, the data engineers or data stewards, or however you name them, it's a wide range of people necessary really to deal with data in an adequate and proper way. So what I learned really very much from our projects, and also when we discussed this data capability model with all the different roles, of course, one is the data scientist. It is that the team needs to work together, and you as a company, not only you mentioned the recruiting part, that's of course important. You need to think about the different roles your company need to cope with, but also how to upskill and reskill your current employees. How is for example, a BI consultant or classical BI could be also moving in the direction of data scientists. So what are the potential courses or learning paths to develop him in that direction? Or but also the typical, I don't know, business partner who's somehow communicating and being the one dealing with that is also important. So yeah, concerning job title, and it also depends quite often on the company size. I've seen data scientists in smaller companies really doing data science, and other in larger organizations saying, okay, is that really data science what you're doing there? So maybe also the size of the company is important concerning that.
So 2 points from my side. Good job if you don't want to get unemployed or want to get a job, because I think in the future you will have even more data scientists in where you just have at the moment often in bigger sized companies, and it starts to get to mid-sized and small companies that you need data scientists and people that were not working with data or start working with data. So working with data is a good idea if you don't want to get unemployed.
What anecdote to that? Andreas once changed his job title in social media profiles to data scientist, and then he was really receiving a bunch of messages from recruiters, job offerings. Yeah. So it's a good way. Definitely, I can support that.
Yeah. So first thing, second thing. Yes, I think it's really cool, and you have a lot of hours where you love your job and you develop great algorithm and think about good ideas how to bring your company further. But there are a lot of hours where you, this is an example of one of our former employees, or a person who has done an internship at our company and then started because he wanted to have even more data science focus in a specialized company. And then he came back and I was saying, hey, how is it working? And he said, oh yeah, in my next job I cut it I think 2 or 3 weeks. I just cut it puddles, so to see. And then I said, great, yeah, but this the basis to train your algorithm to do this stupid job. And I think this is something that you have to think of when you start, or think of that as a student, for example. That's not always just the cool things like in all jobs, but there's the other side as well.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect summary.
So this was 5 questions with Kai. Great, thank you. And last words on your side, I would say.
Yeah, again, I can only say thank you very much. Our first session where you were challenging me. I hope I did a good job. Again, I like to ask all of you, all listeners, to come up with your own question. Connect us via LinkedIn or whatever, sending us your questions, and then we try to answer them. And also, if you like to have any guest wishes, just contact us and we do our best. And yeah, so it was really, really a cool time right now. And now I wish you all the best and looking forward to the next session.
Thank you and bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to BI or Die, a podcast by Reporting Impulse. If you enjoy our content, please press the like button and subscribe to our podcast so you do not miss another episode. See you next time.